All right, live on Facebook. Gonna put on our intro and allow people time to come in. We got a new friend that we're gonna get to know today by the name of Don Lynch, and should be a really exciting show as usual. Let me just pull it up here. All right, let's go to the intro. We'll be back in about 2 minutes with Don Lynch. Here we go. How's it going, everybody? Let me just get all of the mechanics worked out here. All right. Right on. Here we go. So we got a new friend coming in, someone we haven't met in the Soulogy community, a gentleman by the name of Don Lynch. And just give me a second and I'm going to pull up the bio, which I don't do a good job of always reading them, but I think we should in this case because he's someone I'm not familiar with. I think there's a couple of people made comments that they are familiar with him. So Don is a pioneer in the field of vital energy transformation. He was able to clairvoyantly see and feel the body's energies and blocks to proper flow. He is known for his simple methods for shifting the body's energies for health and vitality. Don has been involved with chiropractic and energy research for 40 years. He's affiliated with the Muay Thai, Sangha, and Tishartia Sangham schools of Thailand, Mexico, Spain, Greece, and Canada. He has devoted 12 years researching advanced energy techniques using a science and biologically based approach. He shared his energy clearing method with cell phones at the ISSEM conference in 2016 to a packed crowd. You can find Don Lynch on Facebook. I went right to his personal profile. Let's go ahead and pull him up and get him up here on the screen so we can get to know him. Here we go. Let me unmute you. Okay, you good?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. What's going on, Don?
Not much.
How you doing?
Excellent.
It's good to make the acquaintance here in the Soulogy community. I think I just saw that are you in Jacksonville, Florida?
No, I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Oh, there's a far difference there. I lived in Jacksonville. I thought, I might see him. We're about to go through there.
I was in Florida just a few weeks ago. I did a breakdown or breakthrough tour with Darlis around the around Fort Lauderdale and Miami area.
Okay. Right on.
Yeah, I had a blast. That was the first time I'd been down there other than just driving through for vacation and stuff. So
you're living in Puerto Vallarta now, huh? Is that where you live?
Yeah, I've been in Puerto Vallarta for 22 years.
Yeah, I've been there too. It's a beautiful place. I think that's where they filmed Predator there, didn't they?
They filmed various films here.
Yeah,
through the high season. The busiest week of the year is that week between Christmas and New Year's. So yeah, we're just getting through that. A lot of tourists here.
So I know we met through Kathy Mason. She's turned us on to a few people that she collaborates with, and she speaks very highly of you. Your bio talks about some pretty specific stuff. I don't know how familiar you are with Soulogy or Soul Speaks 5D, but we don't really have a Q&A so much or an interview. It's just more of a conversation. And, you know, and it's a little unique in that sense, but you're welcome to ask any questions as much as I'm going to be asking questions. So do you have
Well,
any?
originally I'm from Iowa.
Hmm?
I'm from Iowa.
Yeah.
I used to go down to Branson, go over into Arkansas to look for crystals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I used to romp around in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there
We've
was
been here.
a big open crystal slag place, and we'd go through there and
Yeah.
dig them out and stuff. Yeah.
Mount Ida, uh, Eureka Springs. It's an incredible place. My wife and I have been through here 3 times, and we've been here since right before Thanksgiving this time with some dear friends of ours. More than that, really. But yeah, Arkansas is definitely kind of under the radar, but there are portals everywhere here. No doubt. No doubt. So you know, a lot of times when people come on for the first time, everybody knows this. I like to ask them, when did you wake up? You know, I mean, you're obviously into some very specific things and some unique things. Some of the things people talk about that come on this show, they talk about moving energy, transforming energy, energy practitioners, that type of thing. Yours seems to be a little bit more specificity to it, which we're going to love to hear about. But you, on a personal level, did you come out of the womb knowing you were from another place, or did you
No,
figure it out later?
no. I'm a businessman. I always have been a business person, and I came up in corporate America. But I always had some kind of unique knack of knowing how to deal with people and stuff. And so it wasn't until later in life when I'd moved to Puerto Vallarta, and I started doing free diving at night. I don't know if you're familiar with free diving. It's like where you dive without any scuba tanks and stuff, and you just go down and flashlights and spears and stuff.
So you just go down with a snorkel?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You just dive without any equipment except for fins and
That's
spear.
nice. What's so? I bet I bet that's pretty exciting. I could probably get into doing something like that. To be
Well,
honest.
yeah, it's during the day it's one thing. Then at night, when you have real limited vision and you're lower on the food chain than you were before.
Yeah.
Sometimes certain parts of your body suck up into higher parts of the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constriction, right?
But the first time, but yeah, so actually we used to do it quite a bit, and did it at night. We used to go for lobster and stuff, and they come out at night. And um, anyhow, to make a long story short, I almost died in the water 3 times in 1 year doing stupid stuff. And then one day I'm sitting at home here in Puerto Vallarta, and sitting on a roof. You might, since you've been here, I'll tell you. I mean, we used to live right downtown, on top of one of the big buildings downtown. We lived up on the roof, literally. And I'm sitting there one afternoon, shortly after my latest near-death experience, and I just started taking deep breaths like that. And my wife goes, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "I don't know what's going on." And I just kept doing it over and over and over. And finally I stopped. And then shortly after that, I started healing people in the coffee shop.
Did they just walk up to you, or did you see something wrong with them, or how did that work?
Well, usually it starts out, they go, "Oh, I got this headache that won't go away," or "I got this pain in my back," or "My neck hurts," and stuff like that. And it was started out like that. And then at the same time all this was going on, I used to work. I used to go in and work on fighting skills. I used to do Muay Thai and kickbox and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I have extensive background in chiropractic research, and so the fighters, and people I was practicing with always had aches and pains and stuff like that. And I started doing chiropractic stuff with them, and things kind of merged together, and I end up working with professional fighters, and did some traveling with that. And, I started working with people call them cage fighting and stuff like that.
Now this is strictly, well, this is holistic with the chiropractic too. I guess you probably
yeah,
did.
yeah, it's mind body stuff.
But you were all self-learned, or it came to you intuitively.
Well,
Other than
after I had that breathing experience, it was like I just started connecting,
yeah,
randomly outside of myself,
yeah.
and it's evolved over a period of time. I'm not spiritual at all. I'm not woo woo at all.
Mm.
And that has allowed me to connect freely. I don't have any pre-existing conditions on anything. And I connect freely with all kinds of stuff outside of me, higher beings and all these guys and all these entities and things like that. And so
Well,
I started getting a lot of downloads, and I still am getting a lot of downloads.
this is what we talk about on this show. Now, but you started doing this breathing. You go into the coffee shop. You know to put your hands, or however, to start treating people. You've got the research in the chiropractic. It
Yeah.
reminds me of the story, wonderful story of Joel Goldsmith is the guy's name. He was like a star seed way before star seed, or a wayshower way before a wayshower. So this had been back in the 20s or the 30s. And he started an energy called the Infinite Way. And so he was a businessman. I think he was in either Chicago or New York City. And a similar thing happened to him. And the next thing you know, he's walking down the street and people are walking up to him and saying, can you help me? And he starts healing people. And this whole story comes out of it. It's a fascinating story, but it's a very similar type of energy. Now, as you started to receive this gift, these higher skills and abilities, did you have a message that came with it? Was there any other dimensional or divine essence or anything speaking to your higher self saying, here's what's happening, here's
Oh,
what you're going to do?
oh yeah. These guys that I'm connected with, this higher stuff out here,
Hmm.
I just treat them just like I'm talking to you right here. I just talk to them, and
Yeah.
we have open discussions about stuff, and they might be directing me in one way, and then I'm like, hey, I don't think that's a good idea. Or I'll have an argument with them. And I was in Taos. I got to relate this. Some of
Yeah.
these people might be listening right now, but I was in Taos, New Mexico, and I did with Paul Brubaker and Reese, and they had experienced me via Zoom one day, and they ended up inviting me to come up and work on people up there. Anyway, so I was doing a class with all these healers from around Taos, and I have this one technique that I had made people sick with before. And so I was real cautious about working on people with it. And I had gotten the class to a pretty high frequency rate. And I said, well, I have this technique, but I don't want to do it just on, I just want to do it on one person. I don't want to do it on the whole class, because I'd never done it on the whole class. And my guys up here are saying, no, do it on the whole class. I'm like, and I'm talking to them. I'm saying, yeah, but I've never done that before. I don't know what's going to happen. There might be somebody in here that might get sick from this. I don't want to do it. And there was 3 or 4 ladies in the group that heard my discussion with these guys up here.
Hmm.
And they're like, do it, do it, do it. They started yelling at me, do it. I'm like, you guys are listening in on this. This isn't fair. You got to be careful what you hear from me, because you don't know what's going to happen. So, but
Well,
yeah.
I think you're among those like you here. I'm pretty sure most everybody here has these conversations, and because people have talked about it, you're having them out in the open, but to be doing it in front of a room full of people unconsciously, that's a little bit different. Yeah.
Oh, I had another one. I don't know if I'm really on here to tell stories, but I got another one that actually facilitated a major download for me. I was in, I teach in Chiang Mai, actually in Mai Tang, north of Chiang Mai. Once a year, I go over there and visit a friend, and he's got students around the world there. And so I get to work on all kinds of people and stuff. So it was a Sunday. I was there just a couple months ago, and he says, well, we're off today. And he says, me and Panos, we want to take you over to the cave. And they'd talked about the cave many times before. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever, let's go. And so we went to this mountain, a huge mountain, and it's called My Way Cave, My Way Cave, and you climb halfway. You climb halfway up this mountain, and you duck in this door. It's like 3/4 the size of a regular door, and you got to crawl through spaces that are only about 24 inches and stuff. And it's like very deep, steep stairs going down. We get down the bottom, and my buddy, who is a Shaolin monk, he goes over and starts meditating at this deity's altar that's way back in the deep part of the cave. And I'm just standing there. I'm kind of bored at this point, and I'm looking around, and in the ceiling there's this concave thing in the ceiling. Is about 3 feet in diameter. Well, I just wonder what that is. And I stuck my head up in there, and there was like, I looked at it and it looked like there was somebody there had putting like handprints up there.
Mm.
But they weren't totally human, or there was just something different about them. But I put my hands on that, and I stuck my head on my hands, and I could feel the whole mountain breathing. It was just like it was breathing. I could feel my whole body moved like that. I'm like, wow, that's really cool. Never felt that before. And so Panos, the Greek guy, the other master that was there, I said, hey, Panos, get in there and stick your head and hands up in there. And so he went in there, and so he came back out, and I said, well, what'd you feel? And he says, oh, I went to, I went out and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, well, maybe that was just a fluke thing with me. So I just went back in there. I did it again, boom. And here comes the breathing thing again. The whole mountain's moving. And I'm like, wow, that's super cool. And so I got out, and, I am not attached to any deity or any beliefs, or anything like that. And my Shaolin monk buddy gets up from meditating. I go over there. I'm just standing in front of the altar, and I know that, hey, this energy is like moving all this one way. I'm really sensitive to torsion and spin, and like it's all moving this way. And I'm like, well, this should be in balance. And so I started pushing it back the other way, and this deity guy, he was like resisting me. I'm like, okay, all right, here, feel this. And I really jacked it up. And then all of a sudden he realized what I was doing, and I cleaned up his vortex for him there. I got it all spun up and stuff. I cleaned out, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. And I turned around. I took just one step away, and he says, stop and look down. And so I looked down. He says, what about that one? I'm like, well, yeah, okay, I can clean that one up too. So that was like the core of the energy thing there. I cleaned that up. Boom, boom, boom. I took a couple steps away, and by this time, my Shaolin monk buddy Pedro, he was like, 30, 40 feet away. And I said, I just started walking towards Pedro, and the voice, this deity comes to me, and he says, what you did will last 1,000 years. I'm like, well, okay, that's cool. And Pedro's way over there. I'm like, hey, Pedro, we're in this deep, dark cave. And I said, hey, Pedro, this guy says that what I did was going to last 1,000 years. And Pedro goes to turn around and look at me. And on the wall, right in front of Pedro, is a sign that says 1,000 years.
Yeah. Can't make this shift up.
No, and Pedro's like, well, how can you do that? I'm like, well, I don't have any beliefs about any other gods who I talk to or can't talk to. I don't have any of that. And so I'm just wide open.
So you look at everything as energy, period.
Yeah.
No labels. I mean, if it's suppose deity's voice, it's no different than talking to me. I like that. What you were talking about earlier, this team that you talk to them no different than you would me or anyone else, right?
Right. And that's a process that's, it didn't happen like overnight. That was there, like way back when, after I had the last near-death experience, I went through that breathing thing. I was working on people energetically and chiropractically in Guadalajara. And I was over there, and I had this one class, like 20 some people. And I had rode the bus for 4 hours to get over there. I got there, I worked on 20 plus people. And I was, at the end of it, I was exhausted. And I had noticed a lady standing back off to the side for the last couple hours watching me. And she was like a middle-aged lady standing over there, and a guy. And they were just watching me. And Frank, my buddy, says, hey, Don, I need you to work on one more person. I'm like, Frank, I'm exhausted, man. I'm totally trashed. He says, you got to. She's a friend of mine. I'm like, okay. So she came over. Turns out she's a shaman, an Indian shaman, and lives up in the mountains outside of Guadalajara. And she had a mysterious pain in her back or her leg or somewhere. I forget where it was. I put my hands on her head and her neck, and immediately a voice came to me and said, "Hey, take her cell phone and do this and that." Okay, so I did that, and then now take her cell phone and put it on her pain and tap her a few times. I said, okay, so I did that, and this pain that she had spent months trying to fix was gone instantly.
Wow.
And that was the beginning of the journey with the cell phone thing, and that's how I met Kathy.
So that was the tech, that was the procedure that was referred to at the end of that bio that I was reading.
Yeah, that cell phone thing was, I mean, that came from, I mean, almost like 80 or 90% of everything I do came from outside of me. I don't have any books. If you saw my house, you'd be like, where's
So,
how?
yeah.
I don't have any books or anything. This is just all comes to me.
So you're pulling this information straight from infinite intelligence. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
The morphic field, whatever. Which a lot of people that have come on here, you know, and some of them do have it associated with certain teams or galactics or angelics, and some don't, you know, or some did, and then they kind of detach from it and that type of thing. But this is very specific, you know, and the voice seems to be very clear as well. Has the voice ever identified itself in any way, put a label galactic or anything?
Nah, you know what? I never asked.
Never asked.
No, but what I tell you what I do know is that ever since I've been walking the path that I was truly given to transmute energy and to give information to people and you know, to just to receive things and send things back and just to be a conduit like everybody talks about.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ego was huge at one point, and I had to learn how to control it. And
Yeah.
I learned to control my ego and become very ego aware.
Yeah.
And that's what facilitates the communication, is just being ego neutral, or just to tuck your ego away.
Yeah. That's a very good point. You know, you know, we have a saying here at Soulogy: the higher you go, the higher your ego goes. You know, and
Oh yeah.
you know, my wife's been downloading for about 20 years, and she talks about that. You know, she talks about over the years, you know, you pull something down really profound, and you're like, oh, I'm pretty sharp. You know, I'm pretty clever, and but she talks about the almost like a necessity, the process to stop, let the ego absorb it, level off, and move on. You know, sounds like it's been a process for you too.
Oh yeah. But I find that, you know, by becoming ego aware and getting all that under control, that and plus not having any connections to any specific beliefs or a
Yeah.
belief system of anything, has facilitated a lot more. It was like it's a wide open space for me.
So there was no previous encounter or episode or divine intervention or anything until these three times that you pushed death to the limit and almost transitioned. I can relate to that too.
Well, well, actually, I've had several
um,
near-death experiences due to basic stupidity,
yeah,
but three times in the water in 1 year was like, I think that was the trigger.
yeah.
Uh,
Now, so you talk about getting downloads and transmissions
yeah,
too. Do you
yeah.
get information, say, that is, you know, given to or about the collective, about what's happening collectively, or is it more what's going on with you in your world?
Well, you know, I'm a science-based guy, and I was trying to figure out a lot of this stuff as it came to me, what was going on and stuff. And once I surrendered that, I didn't have the right equipment to, or knowledge or skill set to
Mm,
understand a lot of the stuff. I started looking for like scientists to explain to me, like, how come the cell phone thing works, and nobody could explain it. You know, and I'm talking high level people, and anyway, so the ascension thing is actually my mission right now, because there's a lot of people that think they're going to the 5D thing and they're going to end up in 4D or stuck in 3D. And some of my latest stuff is all related to that.
Mm.
And one of the key, well, two of the key factors is ego awareness, and it's just like you're talking about right there, people getting stuck, oh, I can do this. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, what do you do?
Yeah.
So what about the next step? Let's go. Let's keep moving
Yeah.
here. Let's keep the ball rolling.
You're an old corporate guy like me. You said that a minute ago, and they had that old saying in the corporate world, "What have you done for me lately?" So whatever you did
Yeah.
before,
Yeah.
and that's very true what you're bringing up too, because I've met many people on this show that had a certain connection or communion or modality or process or whatever that left them, that they moved on to something else. So you don't even know what's going to happen tomorrow. But I think that's a very sincere, ego aware type of statement. Now, can you describe in your words, to help us understand more clearly, where you're coming from? What do you mean by ego awareness? And I guess also maybe, why is it so important? Because we do get all the woo woo and people are communing and they're transmitting and downloading, and we get lost in that sometimes and forget that we're
Yeah.
human.
Well, actually, it's two parts. Okay, there's ego awareness, and there's the ability to feel on a profound level, which we are automatically designed to do. And to feel on a profound level, you got to have the ego thing under control. So, and those are the two key factors, actually, I think, that are going to be involved in people's ascensions, are their ability to be ego aware and feel on a very profound level. And so that's my path right now. But to help you understand better about ego awareness, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. It's easier just for me to tell a story about
That's
myself.
fine. I'm from Texas. We tell stories all the time. One thing I do want to inject, what I'm picking up from you is, which I really like as well, is I get the feeling when you're talking about ascension, you're talking about not necessarily something that's preordained or whatever, but that it's an energy available to a person. The opportunity is there to take this path of elevation. Go ahead.
It's a choice that we make. It's a choice. For me, I'll tell you a quick story. Okay, so I'm in Thailand again. My one of the fighters that I worked with here in Mexico, he trained in Thailand for years, and I did consulting for business manufacturing and stuff. I traveled a lot for a couple of years, and I didn't want to travel anymore. And he kept trying to get me to go over with him to Thailand. I'm like, Frank, I don't want to go. I'm tired of traveling. And so he was persistent over the course of several years. And finally, one year I had a weak moment or something. And I said, yes. And we got off the plane. Well, I won't go into the whole story, but anyhow, so I met a spiritual master over there, and he told me, you have a big ego. I'm like, yeah, I do. Yeah. But he had one too. We both had these huge egos, and this guy, he was healing people from around the world and stuff. And he tried to get me to stay there and work with him and stuff like that. And I'm like, I appreciate the offer, but I'm really walking my own path. And then he'd kind of blow up at me, I'd done this for several years, but what I learned from that was that I had to get my ego more under control. And one of the things that I learned about myself was how much I use the words I, me, or mine in my conversations.
Say that again.
I, me, or mine.
Okay,
I was, or I am, or that's mine, and things like that.
Yeah.
And so
there is no mine, is there? There is no mine.
I came home from that trip with this resolution that I was not going to use those words to transmit ideas and to have conversations with people. I didn't want to interject my ego and stuff. And so my wife would ask me a really simple question, and I'd be like, just a minute, I got to think about that. How am I going to express this without interjecting ego into it? And after about a week of that, she was ready to throttle me.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't have a basic conversation without taking a long time. And so, but it made me more ego aware, not using those words in my conversations.
So in other words, each time something came up to you, you actually just kept your mouth shut, figured out, how am I going to say this? And basically, I guess in essence, you reprogrammed yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a difficult time, I can tell you.
Now, this is really interesting because I think you know, we talk real-time intel here. What I mean by that is we typically talk about what's happening along with the person's story and what they do and so on. But over the last 2.5 months, there's been a consensus that there's been some fast-moving, incoming, available energies being made available, having ramifications on the physical, mental, emotional things coming up from the past and shadow work and all that. That people have just, people of a very high vibration too. Some that I know that have said, stay on your square, watch yourself. It's kind of like we're cleaning out the closet before we go through the eye of the needle type of thing. Now, in regard to that, it also seems to me that the ego is front and center above all else right now. It's like on point. And I love what you said about the I, me, and mine, because I think one of the things that the light worker community is having a very difficult time with, our practitioner community maybe, is what you've received. What, like your gift, what you've received, is that yours? Is it yours?
Yeah.
And here's the thing, just as quick as we say it's ours, it's gone from us the next day. It's like throwing an absolute down with the universe and saying, hey, this is the universe, but this stands true no matter what. And you know what happens when we do that.
So you pick up that baggage that you just picked up. Okay, you pick it up and you hold on to it. That I'm your mind baggage. To receive the next piece of equipment or the next baggage, you got to be able to put that one down.
Yeah.
And let that one go. You can still pick it up at any time.
Yeah.
Okay. But you got to be able to put it down at the same time.
Yeah. It's interesting how it's seemingly gone full circle. The awareness of, oh, I'm more than a human being. And then the communication starts coming in, and you start to have some fraternity with people and fellowship, and you're not the only crazy, weird person, that sees things and so on. But here we go all the way back, which is really every tick of the way, that it's this ego awareness that you're talking about. What does that look like? How do we keep our ego in its in its proper place, in the passenger seat, as the barometer that it is? It's almost like a red flag detector kind of thing. How do we keep it there and maintain this symbiotic relationship with the growth of our spirit and the taming of our ego, so to speak?
All right. Well, I talk in terms of we're just bags of water, and we have some electrical aspect to us. We're operating electrically, and we have a built-in operating system up here in the animal brain that's basically in charge of the package.
Yeah.
This is just a host body for the animal brain. And that belief about who and what you are and this plane of existence here is all ego-based stuff. Okay. But since it's a sensation, ego is a sensation. Ego is timeline too, by the way. Everybody has these timelines that they've created for themselves and that have been created for them. And once you become sensitized to that timeline and the way your ego and timeline connect to you physically in your body as just an electrical point of resistance, you can release those points. Okay. You want to try an experiment here?
Yeah, let's do an example. Yeah, this is good.
Okay. For instance, okay. Now, Todd, I'm going to emit some frequencies out of my vocal box here. Okay. And they're going to bounce off of you.
Right.
Okay. And when they do, you're going to feel a tightness or a constriction or a resistance in your body. Okay. And without thinking, without trying to understand it, all I'm asking for you to do is to actually just tap yourself a few times, like on your collarbone, and then take a breath and blow it out.
Okay.
Like that. Right. Okay. All right. Okay. So here we go. Just hear the words. Okay. You don't even have to pay attention to what I'm saying, but just feel the effect it has on your body and release it instantly. Okay. All right. Say your name out loud.
Todd Medina.
Todd, shave your head, shave your eyebrows, shave your beard and mustache, lose all sense of self-identity. Take a deep breath, blow it out. Now feel your body.
Feels loose. Feels loose.
See, that creates a resistance in your body by attacking the ego like that. And then you can just release it.
Yeah.
That release mechanism, medically speaking, is called the relaxation response.
Yeah.
And in reality, what it is our ability to adapt to our environment and our ability to change the way our body is.
Transform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Transforming energy that actually has, I'm a big believer that we're integrating polarities, you know, and the utmost example would be physical and non-physical. But like what you just took me through, that was actually energetic, as everything is, but the physical, it was in line with it. Basically, it was in alignment. Instant.
And then, yeah, it's instant. You know, when I was a kid, my dad would give me nice toys and stuff, and I'd always take them apart. I'm like, how does this work? You know? And so that's why I am with all this stuff, these downloads and stuff. I just do it. I don't, I just get in there and do it, Todd. So here's another one for you, another ego-based one. Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do is, so your throat chakra, your portal, whatever you want to call it, right in here, is like an opening to your energetic body. Okay. And so I'm going to go in there. I'm going to pull some strings. I'm going to get all those loose ends together. There's some energetic lines in your body. We're going to pull them all together and make a ball out of it. Then I'm going to pull gently outside your body like this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And when we get it stretched out nice and tight, then we're going to take a deep breath again and tap and blow it out.
All right.
All right. So feel this. Here I come. Keep your eyes open too. It's more fun that way. All right. So here it comes. All right. So I'm going to pull these down here, and this one over here, this one up there, this one over here, this one over there. All right. Pull them together. A little resistance right there immediately. Let that go. All right. Just relax. Let me pull that sucker out of there. Here it comes. All right.
Good.
Wait. There, feel that tightness. Tap, blow it out. Now feel your body.
Yeah. I did feel something. I felt it on the left part of my upper spine, like a channel, there was like a channel cleared or a.
Yeah, let me do it again. We'll go deeper, a little bit deeper. Okay. And a little bit more powerful this time. Then here it comes. Pulling them together. Pulling that up, pull that and that. Pull that one down, this one over there. Make a little ball out of it. I'm going to tighten them up. I'm going to pull them tighter. We'll go a little deeper. And I'm going to pull it out.
Mm.
See how easy that comes out now?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go out farther.
Mm.
And now do it.
That's pretty cool.
All right, Todd, here's another one for you. Take your right hand, put it on your heart. Okay, now move it up to your left shoulder, towards your left shoulder. Go slowly, move it up there. Go slow. Okay, move it up just a little bit more. Oh, too far. Go back slow. Like right, stop, right. Go down a little, go back down. Up, go back to that spot you're just at that, right in there. Stop.
Mm-hmm.
Go up just a little bit, half inch up to the right, up to your left a little bit. Go to your left just a little bit, like right in there. Feel how weak your heart is, how weak you are right there. Okay, now just take a deep breath and tap and blow it out. No, you gotta keep the hand there. All right, go back, move it back up to your left shoulder just a little bit. Right in there. Stop right there, right there. Okay, now keep the hand there. With the other hand, just tap yourself a few times. Take a deep breath.
Okay.
Keep your eyes open too. It's more fun that way.
Yeah, I can feel it. What the hell am I doing?
You're just a bag of water, Todd. You just have some electricity bouncing around in there. You're activating your self-healing system. Now, some people might call that sadness or sorrow or anger or hatred or something like that. It doesn't matter to me. All it is an electrical point of resistance in that bag of water. Now feel your body.
It feels loose, free flowing.
All right, Todd, here's one more for you. You ready for another one?
Yeah.
All right. So connect to your highest, to connect outside yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Keep your eyes open if you can. Keep
All right.
and just kind of connect out there. All right.
It.
Okay, now remember that how it is right now, okay? Remember how it is. Lock
Right.
that in. That's
Right.
your baseline, okay? All right,
Okay.
now just a second. We'll feel that one. And that one. Now feel that. Okay, now check your connection there and see if it changed any.
Yeah, of course it has. Yeah.
How would you describe it?
From singular to maybe 5 streams of expanded existence or consciousness or
that out there, I call it plasma, and some scientists are going to disagree with it because you can't create plasma, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so I just call it plasma, but there's points of drag in plasma and that connection, okay? I am sensitive enough, I can pick that point of drag and actually pull it out of there and change your connection and facilitate that connection for you. That's what I do. And that's one of the things. And then the other thing is, like, in your field, your electromagnetic field around your body, those points there, those can be released too. And so your sensitivity will expand out significantly.
it sounds
That's
like
kind of stuff I do.
of course, so we have a lot of energy practitioners come on this show, 1,700 episodes, and in some form or fashion, it's all the same thing, but not to make light of it. Now, what I see different about yours, there was a lot of conscious inner work, conscious shadow work that's still relevant today for people, but there's also almost like a non-emotional, sensitivity kind of thing, like maybe a non-egoic sensitivity type of thing, non-judgment type of thing that I've seen, like I'm seeing with you, and I've seen it with others, where it takes all the stories out, it takes the emotions out, and you're basically dealing with the bio machine,
Yeah, exactly.
the biogenetic machine, and you're just basically working with energy, and it takes all of the personal shift, out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's your ego putting names on stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that. It's almost, people talk about as they elevate that they have these episodes of where they have less emotion. Something sad happens or a movie or whatever, and everyone's crying, and you're over there going, "Why am I not crying?" But and I'm just trying to draw an analogy that this approach, the energy or the frequency of your approach and your method, doesn't. There's no story. There's no, search. It's just, let's scan the body. Let's pull the strings tight. Let's clear the field. Let's expand the field. Let's get this electricity flowing.
Stories are optional.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can go back to your story.
Yeah.
If you want, it's optional. But here, I'll show you. I just do it with people. I'll just take them out there.
Yeah.
Show them how to do it. And then I leave them out there, and then it's
Yeah.
optional for them if they want to go back to their story. But I teach them how to control that. I
Yeah.
teach them how to control it. How you can just be walking around and you can connect automatically out here at will.
Yeah.
At will, at a high level. You can connect out here in this field of energy here too. It's all optional, and that's what I do. I work with people to teach them that. And the cell phone thing is like a baby step for all this.
Can you just explain to us how, in general, can you explain to us how does the cell phone thing work? What's it doing? Or
First of all, I got to explain to you that I know nothing.
that tells me,
I don't know what I'm doing.
that tells me all I need to know. You have the utmost credibility in my book, whatever that might mean. But yeah, anything that tells me that I don't know anything, I'm all ears.
Well, I went to scientists to explain this to me, and they freaked out. I mean, he ended up being a friend with Claude Swanson, and he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but he says, yeah, okay. But anyhow, my take on it is that, humans, Homo sapiens, have evolved on this planet over eons.
Yeah.
Okay. And radiation from the planet itself can be murderous. I mean, it can kill you if you don't know what you're doing. And then on top of that, you have cosmic radiation. You have coronal mass ejections from our sun hitting us and bombarding the Homo sapiens for eons. Yet we still somehow we managed to evolve to the point we're at today. How did we do that, right?
Yeah.
How did we do that? Well,
from a physical standpoint, it doesn't make any sense. For me,
the answer is pretty simple. The simple thing is that we are designed, we have a built-in self-protective mechanism that has allowed us to evolve to this state.
Yeah.
And that system, they call it the relaxation response. And what that does is basically, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is that if you're all stressed out, you go home, sit down in your favorite chair and turn on your favorite music or whatever and have your favorite beverage. And then all of a sudden you're in a safe place, secure place, and your brain goes, your animal brain goes, hey, there's stress right there in that shoulder that is not good for this host body that I'm riding around in here. And I want to take it out. And so what it does, it makes you take a deep breath and it goes right to that point and it energetically releases instantly. We do it autonomically. It's built into our systems to protect us.
Makes total sense.
And then, but on the other hand, here we are, modern man. We've trained ourselves not to feel. We've trained ourselves not to connect with others. We've trained ourselves not to heal ourselves. And without those things activated, we can't heal ourselves and can't connect, and we can't be who we truly are designed to be. So
where would you say a beginner, let's just put it in those terms, a fellow knows nothing, a fellow human soul that knows nothing. But there's been a lot of talk in the recent months about the body's talking to us. The body's actually speaking to us. We're hearing the body. Similar to what you just took us through, you notice something, it's almost intuitive and subtle, and you say, okay, I'm going to respect that. Now here's a method I've learned from Don. I can clear myself. Would you have a person start by trying to connect or commune with their body, to listen to their body? Would that be the first step?
That's the hardest one.
Oh,
that's the hardest one for a lot of people because, first of all, society and culture has taught us to count on doctors and other people to take care of us, and we've lost our ability to connect with ourselves on a profound, let alone on ourselves, let alone outside of ourselves. But I tell you what, I would much rather work on a complete stranger on the street in the coffee shop than I would on friends or family.
Yeah.
Because it's like a blank slate.
Yeah.
And I don't go in with anybody with preconceived notions about how to do anything.
Yeah.
I just meet them, shake their hand maybe, or touch them on the shoulder. And then I trust my intuition. I
Yeah.
trust my connection 100%. And I just go with the flow. If my guys say, do this, I do that without question.
Yeah. You don't argue with them anymore.
Nah, they know more than I do. I know that.
Yeah.
They know more than I do. So I trust them completely. And so that's,
How has this whole journey, what does that look like in your life? I mean, Don, you're married, is that what you said?
my wife and I have been together for 23 years.
So
And
yeah.
we're in what they call union libre. We're not formally married. I don't believe in having any local, state, or federal agency or church involved in my personal life. I limit that intrusion. And so, but we've been together because we want to be together, and we have 2 kids together.
Wow, congratulations.
Thanks.
So I was going to go another direction, but I got to know this now. So
Okay.
you moved to Puerto Vallarta about the same time. You're with this incredible partner, and you're out there in a lot of ways, out there in the uniqueness of what you do, and you're also a traveler, and you have some exposure, notoriety. How did she navigate all that? Does she understand everything that you do? Does she care? Is she just loves you? I mean, how does that look?
It's so simple. She just loves me.
Yeah.
She lets me be who I am.
Yeah.
She lets me walk my true path, and I do the same for her.
Yeah. Wow.
She's not on the same path as me, for sure. She's a marathon runner. She runs half marathons and marathons, and is crazy athletic, and is like the little Energizer bunny. You just wind her up in the morning and let her go, you know.
What does she think about things like your healing ability and your cell phone technique?
Oh, like the cell phone technique for her is like, oh yeah, okay. Like we've done thousands and thousands of people with the cell phone. It's like old school now. But she loves it because she gets to get the first dose of everything. So yeah, she loves it. She lets me just be me. And I always go with the flow, Todd. You ask me what my life is like, I'm with the flow. I go with the flow 100%.
Yeah. You allow ease into everything, don't resist anything. Yeah, that's
Well, you know, some of the things that we've talked about today, you know, the reason people are having difficulty with stuff, all the stuff that's going on, is because they're resisting the flow. They're not letting it pass through them.
Yeah.
When you create resistance in your life about anything or around something or someone or whatever like that, that's when the damage starts happening. You always got to let things.
It's funny. Over my wife produces the show, and she lines up incredible, energetic patterns of guests that come on. They all seem to fit. But every now and then, I'll be like, I don't want to do that show with that person. I don't want to do it, you know. And I'll have this preconceived notion through a past experience, or I'll just look at their picture and say, I don't want to do it. But it hasn't happened in a while. But I always have to get to a point before the camera rolls of integration or balance, and I pull up to higher self and I just do something. But it never fails. Every time I say, the human says, I don't want to do that, and then, you know, I kick in and balance and connect and equalize it. It's always a fantastic experience, which 99.99% of them are anyway. But I'm just saying, when you get out of the way, you know, like you were saying, when you ease into it and allow it. And what I'm getting from you, because there's so much stuff right now coming out, seems like there's 2 extreme news feeds running. Let's put it that way. So I see these people who are high vibrational, and I'm trying not to be egoic and judge, and I hope I'm not sounding that way, but to be getting stuck on these big boogeymen. And I know it feels real and all that, and I'm not taking that away, but the pedophilia and the Vatican and the secret space program and Q and Trump are going to save us, and spaceships are going to land, and all the doom and gloom and boom, you know. I mean, I find that interesting as I watch it and try to find my own place. And I see this, what I see anyway, is resistance to anything. You know, it seems like it's a big, big deal. And is that nothing more, nothing less than the ego?
Yeah, well, our egos have created this situation. But what people can do to facilitate within themselves and those around them is to feel the resistance, feel that drag or tension or whatever it is in your body, because that is just an electrical point of resistance in that bag of water. You can release it instantly. And when you're doing that, you're affecting not only yourself, but people around you, and even energetically in buildings and spaces. And you can apply this anywhere. You got to feel the resistance in you and let it flow. You find it and release it.
Yeah.
Let it flow through you.
So it's so you're locating whatever that external is within your body, and you're clearing it, and as within, without.
Yeah.
It's because it's actually also, and I think a lot of people have probably experienced this, but is it becoming a lifestyle? It's almost like this is like a perpetual machination, a constant, consistent communion with yourself and with the external by locating that stuff within yourself. I like the explanation, and I think it's something that needs to be heard and talked about.
Release it. It's part of the timeline that we've created in mass, and you got to release that timeline. You got to release it from yourself and those around you. I mean, that's those sensitive people, all those high spirituality people that you're talking about, Todd, they're all super sensitive, and some of them have actually been living a life of unconsciously they're leading a life that they're trying to protect themselves from stuff. They're putting shields up and blah blah blah, or they don't do this or they don't do that. I've been there, okay, but I can tell you it's a lot more fun if you can drop those shields. If you can walk freely on this earth, and actually change you and the people around you and change your environment energetically, be consciously aware of it and just do it. And to get a bunch of people in that state is one of the reasons I'm out here talking to people like you and doing videos and stuff like that, because a lot of this stuff can be transmitted through video. And just like we did your heart thing there, and we change you energetically. It doesn't matter if it's on video or over internet or whatever. Time and space.
It's energy floating around out there, and if you're open, I get that. Now, I want to ask you a couple things too. One of the big challenges that has been on the forefront of these light worker communities, these energy practitioners, groups and such, has been, how do I bring my skills and abilities, modalities, processes forward, and how do I charge? Does that, how do I create income? How do I charge people for it and stay balanced? Or, you had two schools of thoughts. One, they would charge, and one wouldn't charge anything. And they're kind of in the middle now trying to work this stuff out.
I worked on anything on that? Todd, I worked on thousands of people. I never charged anything. I lost all attachment to money. My ex-wife taught me that. And
I did that twice. All right.
Well, fortunately, I didn't have to do it twice, but I learned the first time. But anyhow, so
you know less than I do.
But my answer to that is that you do everything you can. And Kathy Mason, up at Kathy Mason Marketing, she chased me down, dragged me out kicking and screaming into the public eye. A year ago, and she's the one responsible for having me out here now and doing this. I mean, I don't.
All her fault.
It's all her fault. Yeah.
So, but I mean,
like those people that you're talking about, Todd. What I would recommend is contact Kathy Mason or somebody like her. You probably may already know somebody. Blah blah blah, and get out there and fine tune your stuff. Like my trip that I went to.
But I mean, but you don't have a set price. You don't charge, but you also receive
Oh,
abundance in many ways, and some of those ways might be money or a
well,
plane ticket or accommodation or whatever. Is that right?
Kathy Mason, she taught me that I had to start charging. And because but what happened is that, well, I used to say, well, I don't charge because I want to be able to say no to people. And I want to just say, oh, I can't do anything or something like that. It's just like, plus I'm lazy. I don't like to work too much, but she dragged me out there. And after a few experiences of charging people, I'm realizing, you know what? I'm actually doing a lot better job working on people when I charge.
Okay, this is what I wanted to get to, that because so you actually have been both parts of the spectrum.
Oh
So
yeah.
and that's what my question was related to. Have you found your comfort zone? And by your explanation, I would say you have.
Oh
Or
yeah,
you're on
absolutely.
that trajectory.
It was a process. So it was like my ego was like, I don't want to charge, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And so, but once I got out there and started charging and realized that, you know what, I'm doing a much better job and I'm getting more downloads as I get out there. Okay. I'm still doing the free stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Like even like we're going to do, I charge quite a bit for coming to my classes and stuff. And I did classes in Boulder and Denver and Taos and Santa Fe and Fort Lauderdale and Miami. I charge quite a bit for those classes, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, we can't afford that." And so, like in a couple of weeks, we're going to do an online one. I'm going to work on people online. I'm going to show them a lot of this stuff that they can do themselves, and at a much reduced cost. And
they can do
even like right now, I got to tell you that like here in Puerto Vallarta, I have people after me all the time to do classes here and stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm doing like mini classes here with just 4 or 5 people at a time.
Yeah.
And I have like a little consultorial here that I work with and just do it up there and stuff. I do free, I do medium, and I do high price stuff.
But I mean, at the end of the day, to thine own self be true. You found your groove. You created Kathy. You created all this stuff, and it all came together. And here you go. Now you've got 2 kids. I'm not going to get too pro, but how old are your kids?
Well, I have a family in the U.S. My 4 daughters up there are all older in their 30s.
Yeah.
And I have my son is here and he's 21, and my daughter is 16 going on 60.
Well, I got 4 daughters. I know what you mean by that. And 2 boys. But now the reason I asked the question was because of your journey and your evolution. I asked you about your partner a minute ago, but these kids, what have they brought to the table? And I would have to say in particular, the younger one.
My daughter here, she is a star child or something. She's something. Okay. Mm-hmm. She ever since she was an infant, she could stare holes through people's heads. She's super powerful little being.
Yeah.
And super smart, gets along with everybody, athletic. She's something else. And my son, I swear to God, he's an alien that they just dropped off with me to take care of.
You just have a place for him to sleep and you feed him.
Yeah. He has all kinds of like powers and stuff like this that
these kids are amazing.
Huh?
These kids are amazing.
Yeah. And you got to let them flower. You got to let them bloom. You can't crush them with your own beliefs and all this crap. I'm sorry, but you can't. You gotta let them just
move to their own rhythms. Yeah, this is part of the easing into it. Is when you have my youngest one is 17, and she's been on her in charge of herself for about 3 years, and most of it's runs pretty well. I mean, it's when you give them the respect and love and honor that we all want for ourselves. You said you don't have any involvement with the church, the government, or minimal or whatever. There's a reason for that. Sovereignty is sovereignty. So yeah, I had a feeling that they'd made quite an impression on you. That's all I was trying to say. And yeah, we should all be open to allowing them to flow as they need to. So how do people find you?
DonLynch.net.
donlynch.net. And I think Kathy put that up in the comments a while ago.
Okay.
And do you have anything coming up soon? You mentioned an online thing. I don't know if that's available for everyone, but do you have anything coming up that people might be interested in?
Actually, we're putting it together now, and it'll be up on my website in a little bit.
Okay.
But I'll be in Florida, February 20th through March 2nd.
I might see you there. We might be down there when that's.
Oh, really? Where do you go down there?
Well, we're heading over there. We've been gifted an RV for a month, and we have a conference to go do a keynote and a workshop at, my wife and I. And so that's through the 20th. And because of the climate, she's from South Australia. So if she sees snow, I know she'll be on the first plane back. So I'm going to head south and hope like hell there's no freak snowstorms. But I think we might stay, certainly the month of February would make sense,
Oh,
because,
cool. I'll be in Jupiter, Juneau, Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
Yeah.
So
We have a friend that lives down there, a very dear sister, and there's some other people we've made contact with on the show. So I'm getting the word out now so people can, let us know where they're at. And we're going to see if we can't put together 1 or 2 or 3 little, what we call soul gatherings, where we have people come and it's all improvisational. You might do a rap, a spiritual rap like I do, or you might do a commentary. You might do a presentation, something like, along the lines of what you've done today, and just kind of bring it all together and all the crazy people.
oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. And
Well, I'll be in, and we're looking at, I'm gonna go to Sedona, sometime probably this spring.
Yeah, we just passed through there twice here just the last few months.
And then I'm pretty sure I'll go back to Taos, had a blast there with Paul Vicker and his wife, Reese.
Yeah.
And all those healers there in Taos and Santa Fe. Good energy there.
The whole Southwest is like,
I've never been to Sedona, so I can't speak for them, but I got
Sedona's a powerful, I call it a multi-dimensional spaghetti bowl vortex, but
I love that stuff.
I've been there 4 times, I think, and I've had incredible dimensional experiences of elevations, gut-wrenching, curl up in a ball crying, passing energy. Now that I can do these things a little easier without the pain and suffering, but
yeah,
there's a lot of, and I don't want to put labels on it either, but I've seen, the last 2 times I've been there that, and I don't get into all that, but the god of death, or the Egyptian escort of death, Anubis, came to me a few times, and it was, I guess, an internal part of me, a darkness in me that had to be integrated, loved, and accepted. Because when it happened, all the coyotes and the dogs in the neighborhood in the canyon started howling. It was like, it's an incredible place, though. It really is. It's a high energy.
Shasta, Mount Shasta.
We went to Shasta. We were in Hawaii, and we thought we were going to live happily ever after, and then our team said, pack your stuff, sell it. You're going to the mainland. And that was August the 8th. And so we've been traveling, and now we're got half the country to go, and we're going to be in Florida within about another 5 or 6 days. So
I'm gonna go to Shasta with Darlis, I think this summer, and then I'll be at Co-Creators Convergence in outside of Boulder. I think that's in.
Is that Kathy's deal?
Yeah, it's Kathy's deal.
Okay, I think she talked to me about it. Yeah, I might say, when is that? In April?
I think it's June. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna talk to her about that.
Yeah, we're gonna have a blast. You gotta come up. Paul Hanna's gonna be there. Paul Hanna's one of the people.
Yeah, I met him yesterday.
He's one of the people who can throw energy around with me and stuff. We got a blast.
He's a very cool guy. I'm gonna have to see if Kathy needs an MC and maybe someone to fill in the blanks between acts. We'll see. We'll have fun. Hey, it was a pleasure meeting you. I'd love to collaborate with you again and meet you in person. And best to you, all blessings to you and your wife and your children and your other family in the States. And thank you for your service to humanity and being down to earth and not knowing anything. take care.
Thanks, Todd.
All right,
Catch you
man. See you later. Bye-bye.